You open your hand, Lord, and you satisfy us. You open your hand, Lord, and you satisfy us. For Lord, open your hand and satisfy us. Many times, me and you are in the desert. Many times, I and you are just like a desert with only expectation of an oasis. Each of us experiences the desert in the desert of the soul. We seek to answer our hunger. We seek hope. We seek pleasure. We seek satisfaction. The desert, biblically, is a time when we feel lost, when we no longer see the path to follow. It is a time when everything is taken away from us, when we are reduced to the bare essentials. The desert is a time of fear, when everything can harm us. Above all, the desert is time when we feel we cannot find an answer to our hunger, to our need. In the desert, we also fall victim many times of mirages. Many times those who have driven have experienced a mirage, or those who have done physics know what a mirage would be. When you're driving on a tarmac road, and ahead of you, you see sort of like a lake formation or water formation, a mirage. Friends, sometimes we have illusions in our thinking. We ourselves delude ourselves into thinking we are on water, where in reality there is only sand. Lord, open your hand and satisfy us. Sometimes in life, we run the risk of spending our energy thinking we have found what satisfies us, only to realize we have found only dust, we have found emptiness. We realize that this unquenchable hunger, this unquenchable thirst is in us. Sometimes we can even risk feeding on food that poisons us. We buy food that poisons us. It may not be the food we get from the market, but that which we thirst for, that which we hunger for. This is why Isaiah's question remains fundamental in my life, in your life. Why do you spend your money for what is not bread, your earnings for what does not satisfy? Lord, open your hands and satisfy us. Because our own hands make us buy what is not bread, make us use our earnings for that does not satisfy us. Dear friends, there is a scandal in the world. There is a scandal in the modern world where millions still go hungry every day, while some enjoy abundance of things that do not even satisfy them. While others lack basic necessities, there are those who use their earnings for the necessities that do not even give them any honor, any satisfaction. Ask yourself, what am I doing with the blessings God has entrusted into my hands? Do I recognize the desert in me with all that I have? Many times, those who stay in the desert think they have abundance of things. When they see one tree, when they see an abundance of water in an oasis, they think they have it all. But they don't realize there is something lacking. Even us, in our spiritual life, we may have all the money to buy that which is not bread. Bread intended as bread of everlasting life. Bread that satisfies. Bread that never cause finished, that never gets exhausted. Today, we could retranslate the question of Isaiah to ask ourselves, where am I? Where are you looking for an answer for your hunger, for your thirst? Where am I looking for an answer to feel recognized, to feel loved, to feel esteemed, to feel seen, to feel comfortable, to feel blessed? Does it really seem to you that the bread you are nourishing yourself with is the answer to your deepest desire? Does it seem to you that the money and earnings you have fully satisfy you? Does it seem to you that the clothes you endorse on, expensive as they may be, do they give you honor? Does it seem to you that those you ignore really esteem you, or do you give an example to them? Does it give you satisfaction to earn but not give? Does it give you satisfaction to amass and not offer? Does it give you satisfaction to be in a desert of many blessings but unwholesome of less? Dear friends, each of us is that desert. Each of us is that desert that when it rains, when God showers blessings, we dry off. And we only have one oasis, and that oasis is life. That oasis is your baptism, that still keeps you the child of God. But your earnings, your blessings are all drying off, because we seek other things that satisfy our humanity, but don't satisfy our spiritual being. But even when they satisfy us, it is a moment, it is an instant, and in reality, they don't satisfy, because the full satisfaction of humanity is God. Dear friends, Israel's story, the desert, is not just a place of fear, but paradoxically also a place of intimacy with God. But many times, our deserts tend to become a place of distancing away from God instead of intimacy. Sometimes in our suffering, we tend not to seek God, but we tend to seek human satisfaction. We tend to seek faster things. For example, not to mention many, witchcraft, betting, faster money, but do they satisfy you? No, they don't. Why? Because we are a desert that needs God's rain to make us fruitful, to make us full of God's blessings. It is precisely in the desert that we see Jesus go to bring the people to himself, to experience the most authentic relationship with God, to listen to his word. But after being nourished by his word, he has compassion of them, because the word seems not to be enough, and offers himself. The 2 fish and the 5 loaves, number 7, are a number of perfection. Perfection which is God. Perfection which is Christ. He offers himself to them, and in blessing, just like at the Eucharist, he blesses, he breaks the bread, and gives it to his disciples. He breaks each blessing and shares it with us each day. But as a desert, we need to say each time, God us and make us flourish and abundant in God. Sometimes, as said earlier, we dismiss our desert experiences as moments to be forgotten, as moments to be rubbished. We forget our suffering, we forget our thirst. But in reality, the desert, that suffering, is a place where we learn to be with God. Jeremiah teaches the children of Israel, remember how I blessed my servant David. Remember the abundance of blessings I gave to him. You, O Israel, do not forget me. You, O Israel, do not forget where I brought you from. That you seek with your earnings things that do not satisfy you. You become deserts, that when the things you amass, it dries up. Perhaps this is why, even today, Jesus reminds us that come to me, come and find me right here. Come to this desert. He moves to that desert in your heart to meet you. And the people follow him because they are hungry for a word that can guide their lives, a word that can satisfy, a word that becomes flesh and satisfies the entirety of their life. The entire day they remain listening to Jesus. The entire day they remain listening to his word. That encounter begins with compassion. Jesus lets himself to be touched by their thirst, their hunger. But then evening comes. Each of us has an evening of thirst, an evening of love. Light falls on our existence, and words seem no longer enough. Sometimes the words of God, sometimes the preaching of the church, sometimes the teaching of the church seem not enough for us. We have listened, we have learned, we have rejoiced, but then thirst and hunger set in. Why? Because when we move out of this place, we seek that which does not satisfy us. You wonder if these words of God are enough, if the teaching is enough. You begin to doubt that life is somewhere else. You even say to yourself, Dear friends, even to the point of harming ourselves, we tend to look for things that satisfy us to the point of harming neighbor, of harming your own children, of harming your own self. It is a temptation to think that ultimately God has nothing to do with the completeness of our lives, the completeness of your life. Ultimately, this is precisely the disciple thinking. People are hungry, but for them, it does not matter. It seems Jesus is not the answer, even to us here present. We thirst for certain things, and we tend to think Jesus is not the answer. The disciples here are an expression of common sense, of the disenchantment of the outlook that increasingly pervades our communities, our societies, even our churches. Sometimes we see the hungry seated at our verandas, and what we say, go away. Do not disturb me. Leave this place. Which Christ is in you? Which God is in you? Which baptism did you receive? That you do not see the suffering of the others, but then we seek that which do not satisfy us. The one who turn away, the one who ignore, is Christ. We meditate on the word, but then we address life's problems only with the realistic criteria of common sense. I am naked, let me buy a cloth. I am hungry, let me buy soda. The disciples analyze reality. Let them go and buy for themselves something to eat. They are like sociologists, literally taking picnics. But faith cannot be reduced to sociological analysis. The vision of reality, however sound it may be, is only one element of discernment. But it cannot become an encompassing exclusion to exclude the gaze of faith. For faith is not a cheap psychological reassurance, but a fact that corresponds to me and you concretely to what we experience at the moment. We work tirelessly for things that do not satisfy us or our lives, for things temporal pleasure, material wealth, and status. Human tendency is to work for this, that ultimately leaves us feeling empty, anxious, unfulfilled, living a desert of life. True fulfillment, dear friends, cannot be brought out by our desert experiences, which can only be watered by faster things. But true fulfillment can only be watered by the Lord. Our desert experiences need the Lord and turn into flourishing lands. The Lord opens his hands and satisfies us many times. With the oases that never dry, with the blessings that never run out faster. The question, what do you hunger for? What do you ask for? Divine nourishment is given without money. Divine nourishment is given without pride. Jesus comes to the deserts of our hearts, to the deserts of our lives, so that we can receive him, even where the logic of the world seeks to distance us from him. Therefore, me and you are today challenged. Are you building a comfortable earthly life while neglecting prayer life? While neglecting the works of mercy? While neglecting the relationship with the church? While neglecting its teaching? While neglecting neighbor? Listen carefully as Isaiah says, listen and eat what is good. Listen and drink what is good. Listen and partake of that which the Lord gives you. Lord, open your hands